Annyeonghaseyo. Hi, I'm Martine and I am from Queensland, Australia. It's a little bit wet here in Australia today, but it's the perfect day for smoking. So today I'm going to prepare a dish called chicken lollipops in a gochujang sauce, and they're going to be smoked. Australians love barbecuing and we love smoking, so hopefully I'll be able to show you all the steps and you can make this beautiful dish with gochujang sauce. So here we go. We will need, of course, some gochujang. We have some beautiful peanut oil. We have smokehouse tomato chutney sauce, honey, sweet and smoky seasoning, Memphis style, and then of course we've got our beautiful big chicken legs there that we're actually going to prepare and get ready for the barbecue. So our next step is to prepare our chicken leg. So what we want is to actually create what's called a chicken lollipop. And so we're going to remove that top part of the leg here and make sure that that's nice and clean so that we can actually hang the chicken onto our rack. So this is the rack that I showed you previously. And what happens is we get the chicken and then we're able to season it and actually load it onto the rack. So that's going to be our next job. So what we're going to do is we're going to first cut around the top of that chicken. So you will need a sharp knife for that. And we just move it, rotating it round. Okay, once that's starting to feel loose, then what you'll do is you'll get under the skin there, push it up to the top and bring it round. Okay? And so what that does is actually opens up the part of the chicken. It is easy to do these frozen as well. So just cut around it, as I said before. Make sure that you have that area. And you want to actually start to dig around and separate that to make that lollipop chicken. So once you have cut all around, as you can see I've done, you can actually just pull this out, the top bit off the chicken, give it a bit of a twist. If you need to, you can then come back in and use your knife and removing that part of the chicken. And then you just want to trim that up and make sure that looks nice and neat so that then we can hang it onto our rack. Okay. So once all our chicken is ready, so we've got our chicken lollipops, then we're going to take our Memphis sweet and smoky. You can use any combination of dry rub that you'd like. So I'm just going to put some in here. And we're going to cover that all over our chicken. So just put in a couple of tablespoons of it. And then what we're going to do is just going to coat our chicken. We're also going to add in a little bit of peanut oil just for helping the chicken to be crispy and nice and moist. And it will give it a nice coating on it. So put a little bit of that in. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of, if you can see in there, we're just going to try and mix that in. So you can see that there. We're just mixing in the spices into the chicken. This is what we call a rub. So that goes on first. So the rub will go on. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to cover all of our lollipop tops with a bit of foil so they don't actually burn. So I'm just add a bit more because I've got quite a few chickens. So you want it to have a nice coating on that, just brushed over because you want the flavour to be there, which is a sweet and smoky kind of flavour. And then on top of that is going to go our gochujang sauce, which is going to be beautiful. So our next step is actually wrapping up our lollipops in foil, so the top of our chicken. So this is really great because once we wrap that up, then we're able to hold the chicken, and it also protects the top of the chicken. So all we do is we just get a little bit of foil, just get a little piece of foil. We take some of our chicken that we've got here, and we just simply wrap that around and put that on our rack. So our rack is loaded and ready to go. So some of the things that you'll need for this recipe, of course, is a smoker. I also have this great chicken wing rack here. I've got some homemade fire starters, some charcoal, and of course smoking chips. Now these smoking chips actually have to be soaked before we get started. So that's what you'll need today to get started for our smoked chicken legs. Job is to get the fire coals going. So we're actually going to use a homemade fire starter here, which is going to light up, and we're going to start getting our coals burning. It's really important that you have hot charcoal, which will then go into our smoker over here. So just getting our coals in and ready to start putting our chicken in. So as you can see, I have put the coals in and added on our wood chips, which will start to slowly smoke. We're going to then add our water bath on top, and then we'll put on our chicken. So we've put our lid on now. Our smoker's going to sit for a bit, and we're going to watch our temperature go. You can see that I've... Okay, so here's our smoker all set up. You can see I've put the chicken on top of our smoker. You can see as we come down, that's got our coals in it. And then our second section there will actually have our water bath in it. And then of course our chicken. And so I'll put the lid on now. So while our chicken's in the smoker, we're actually going to be making the sauce, which is probably the most important part of all. So this sauce will be going on once our chicken has been smoking for about an hour. We're going to start basting with this. So our first step is to use gochujang. Then we've got a bit of honey that we're going to add in, and then we're going to add in some smokehouse tomato chutney. You can make your own chutney, and you can add a bit of kimchi to that chutney if you want, along with your tomatoes, and cook that down, and it gives it a really nice spicy flavour. So this is just to taste to what I prefer or what I like, so it depends on what you like. I like it spicy, but not everybody does, so you can use the honey to sweeten it a bit. So I'm going to use about 1/4 cup, or about 2 large tablespoons of gochujang into my bowl. Just a little bit extra. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my honey. I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon into my bowl of honey, just to add that little bit of sweetness and stickiness to the chicken wings. So I'm going to give that a bit of a stir. You can see that's quite nice consistency. I'm then going to add about another probably 1, maybe 2 teaspoons, probably 2 actually, of my chutney, and that is very similar to Yum Yum Chicken, where you actually make a sauce that has tomato sauce with gochujang in it. But so you can see here, I'm just mixing that in a little bit. You can also add a little bit of garlic in as well if you want. And you can see we want this to have a bit of a runny consistency, because we're actually going to use a brush and put it onto our chicken as it's cooking. So you don't want it to be too thick, because then it will just kind of cake onto the chicken, but you want it to have like a nice runny consistency that you'll be able to paint onto the chicken. So that is our sauce, so we'll just give it a little... That's good. So if you want to, like I said, if you want to add a little bit more honey to it, you can, and that will lessen the spice. Or if you don't, if you want to add more gochujang, you can as well. So the chicken has been on for a little while now, and we're going to actually baste the sauce. So with our beautiful gochujang sauce that we had, so we're actually going to start brushing that on to our chicken. That's going to add that beautiful depth of flavour and that spiciness. Now remember, we're going to do this quite a few times, probably 3 times, to make sure that we get all the bits of the chicken, and we're going to have that beautiful sauce on the chicken. So I'm going to do that now. Just so you can just see how good these are looking here. Looking really nice. And that sauce is going on really well. So I've just finished basting the chicken. You can see how beautiful that red sauce looks on the chicken. And so that will go back in the smoker now for another half an hour before we come back and do it again. So this is our absolutely beautiful smoked lollipop chicken made with gochujang sauce. It's been smoked for about 3 hours and it is just beautiful. So you can just pick it up and enjoy it. The end of my video. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you enjoy gochujang lollipop chickens, and they're delicious. So masqueta.